Hi guys, welcome. Welcome aboard if you are brand new. Welcome back if you're not. Welcome home if that sits for you. Today we are going to do a pick a card reading and find out what door is about to be opened for you in your awareness, in your life, whether this is with love, with career. What is on the horizon for you? What door is about to be opened for you? We're going to do this a little bit differently today. We're going to create some options, and then, as always, we will choose and create our piles together. So let's see what we've got here. Ooh, all right. The womb. Kairos. Lovely. The seed. So if you like to pick with crystals, hold on, I'll put those in right now. Okay, so for the womb, we have this beautiful jade heart. Gorgeous. Gorgeous. So is that yours? For Kairos, we have this beautiful onyx heart. Feels great, by the way. Super smooth. For seed, we have this beautiful rose quartz heart. So go ahead and take a moment, see which one you're drawn to. You know you have the timestamps. And so once you find your pile, you can go immediately there to that stamp if you'd like. I'm just trying to get that to focus. It's driving me crazy. There we go. Or if you'd like to stay around for the pile creation, that is part of the magic, right? Where your intuition becomes part of the process. If you are already intuitively pulled, go right ahead and go right to your timestamp. Remembering that this is a timeless general reading, and so not every pile, not every message will be for every person. So always reminding you to pick up what resonates for you and leave what doesn't here. So let's get busy and create these piles. All right, so as we always say, this is where your intuition comes in, right? This is where you become part of this process, and your magic helps to create the magic of message. I am a big believer, and I teach all my students that divination is simply a function of your channel being as clear as possible. So, right, the way that you are drawn to a pile, a card, or a crystal always speaks to the messaging that is for you. That's how you know when you're in the right place, when you're gathering the right messages. That is just how the process works for anyone, right? Whether you have practiced with your intuition for years or whether you're just starting out, your messaging is just as valid. So clearing your channel is always key, right? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So at this time, if you're watching this, when it's created, because this is a timeless reading, we are deep in the heart of retrograde season. And what that means is that it's a time to be internal. It's a time to be trusting your intuition in a very deep way. That's where your messages will come. And that retrospection, that capacity we have to look backward and assess what's been happening, right? That awareness of our pattern behavior, our pattern thought, our pattern feeling, the way that we create ourselves as narrative story, absolutely allows us to witness what's working and what's not working. And all the ways that we may want to move forward need to be assessed so that as we move, we know that we're doing that properly, right? That's 2. And again, properly is just in alignment for our own guidance, right? There's no way to do it wrong. In fact, it's impossible to do it wrong. You're always doing it right, because guess what? There are 8 billion ways to live your life. And the best that we can do is to simply keep listening to our own guidance. Understanding that we can always choose again, right? And part of the process sometimes is to get off course, knowing that there is no such thing. All an illusion. All right, there we go. So these are our piles. Right? So take just another minute. If you've come this far, really just tune in. Make sure that you have the right pile for you. I'll just be quiet. Let you take that in. Make sure. All right, pile number 1, or those of you who chose this beautiful green jade heart, right? Let's get in and see what we've got going on here. Yeah, so we start with the womb. And this is powerful messaging, right? The womb is that space of nurturing. The womb is that space of home, and what home is and where it is for you, right? So this is your vessel, your point of origin. So this is that space beyond intention, where we begin to make claim, right, in the womb. However, we are still potential. So that space is the beginning of action, perhaps not quite full action, and yet, of course, and yet action nonetheless. Okay, so we start here with the womb. We go down here to who do you love and who loves you, right? So if the womb is your point of origin, then the answer to this question is your mother, right? That mothering energy, that space of absolute nurturance, that space of knowing that you are unconditionally loved, right? And knowing that you're witnessed and accepted and celebrated in your rawest, purest form, right? Even before you have a form. Super powerful. So who do you love and who loves you? This is this surrounds that why question, right? And what is the answer to why? Here, the answer is, potential is always answered with action. If the choice is made, if the action is love, right, then the womb is that functional vessel, that container for fulfillment, for unfoldment. We've also got mindful, which is about group think, right? So this is sometimes how we have that dichotomy of being in the world and of it, right? This is the way that we give our consciousness to things outside of us, right? And guess what? When we're talking about womb consciousness and who loves us, those are inherently internal things. We've got the 8th house down here. This is about mystery. I love that this is here, because the 8th house is the house of transformation. What greater transformation do we see than potential becoming actuated, not simply through thought, but in and as form, right? This is the ultimate matter generation, right? We can't do that in any other way. So how lovely. But the 8th house is this is the things that we don't talk about in let's call it polite conversation, right? So this is the way that we talk about sex and death and taxes and loans and the arcane and the occult, right? Things that are inherently mysterious. And sometimes we have to process those things internally, because it's always about where we are in respect to them, right? Relative to, right? The law of relativity states everything is relative, right? Certainly. So perspective is everything. Yeah. What door is being opened for you? Let's get more information. So you have the 7 of Swords. The Devil. Okay. 3 of Wands. Beautiful. So this is about deception, right? And perhaps hanging on to beliefs or cycles or patterns or people who are inherently self-deceptive, right? That might not be in line with your long-term goals, with your future plans, right? Perhaps in that moment, that potential is beautiful, but it can't be realized hanging on to these anchors or these anchoring beliefs. This 3 of Wands, I love how she's standing there with her surfboard. The standard Rider-Waite is all about looking out to sea, watching your ships come in. Here she's waiting for the waves, right? She's waiting for the wave to surf that wave, which is all about finding your place in the mystery, right? Which, guess what? The womb is all about finding your place in the mystery. And here we're asked, whose place are you finding, right? Is it your place, or is it a place you've been told to find? Or is it a place that you perhaps found something before and are hearkening back to that simply because that's your comfort zone, that's your attachment, that's your 3D reality at this time? So what door is being opened for you? Let's keep going here. The Ace of Cups, lovely. The 2, wow, the 2 of Cups. Look, pile 1, what you got going on here? Really, wow. What door is being opened for you? This is all about love, bliss, joy, right? Ace of Cups is the universe handing you a gift. And we know that aces are gifts that must be received gratefully and put into action, right? We can't stuff them in our pockets or tuck them away in a drawer and hoard them for later. It simply doesn't work with this energy. And this 2 of Cups is all about then sharing this with someone else, right? The 2 of Cups is inherently about relationship. It's inherently about the space between self and other. Just like this womb space is inherently about self and other, right? What we incubate doesn't have to be simply about a new life, right? It can be about a new idea. It can be about a new connection. It can be about a new adventure. Any of those things, right? Here says that whatever it is, the door that's being opened for you is a door in your heart, right? And that door in your heart will allow you to connect with yourself right? Where is the key? The key is, this is a door to self-love. This is a door to self-exploration. This is a door to self-alignment. The polar opposite of the 8th house is the 2nd house, which is about anchoring worth and value, tangible and intangible, resourcing what you have, right? Not just what you have in your hand, but what you have in your heart, right? And how you're able to share that. This 4 of Wands is a card of, right? So here we have contentment and bliss. Here we have shared contentment with another. And here we have a community founded like on that feeling. This is, the way that I see this is like a community development, right? I have a powerful self-love, and then I can share it with another, and then we can share, like, they'll tell 2 friends, and we'll tell 2 friends, and so on and so on and so on. So the door, I believe, that's being opened for you is about self-discovery. It's about pulling up from whatever it is that has been keeping you in deception. Anywhere where you have been, let's call it manipulated, right? Or where you've been strung along, right? Those are things that catch us in the 3D, and they pull us to places we might not necessarily have gone on our own. They pull us into this groupthink, right? But I think the door that's opening for you is a door of self-potential, right? I think that you have within you already the knowledge of who and what you are and how you're here to serve and what that means. And I think that that door is about to be blown off the hinges, to be honest with you. And I think the only action that you'll have to take is to always come back to the love. Like right up here, we have that external world dynamic with the groupthink, with betrayal, with this attachment energy, with looking out for what's coming, right? How do I ride the wave? And down here we have all this internal energy, right? At the heart of which is always your heart, your soul, your alignment, right? The way that you feel about a thing. Quite often I talk about Venus energy as being the energy of home, right? What that feels like to you. And I always say no one but you can recognize that. No one but you can define it. No one but you can speak to what it feels like for you, the experience of home, that inception feeling, and how you carry that forth and then express it in relationship and then embody it so that the whole wide world can witness that and share in your magic. That's the door that's being opened for you. Your full embodiment of self-actualization as a heart-centered being, non-reliant on anything else, non-defined by anything else, right? Yeah, the door that's being opened for you, self-actualization, self-definition. That's a powerful place to be. A powerful place to be. Yeah, so pile number 1, I think that feels complete for you guys. I wish you nothing but the best. Thank you for listening. Hit that subscribe button if you don't mind. And if you found this useful, please pick it up and run with it. If not, leave it here. Keep listening if you'd like. Come back, check out a different message. It's all good. Be blessed, and I'll talk to you soon. Hey, pile number 2, welcome. Welcome to those of you who chose Kairos, or this beautiful onyx heart, right? Let's see what your messages are. So, this Kairos card, it's quite lovely in and of itself. So the relationship of this card is about time, right? It's about, you know how if you're in a car accident and it feels like time stops while it's happening, that's the mythic nature of Kairos, right? It's about how time is relative and how time is non-linear, and how how we understand that, but we're so programmed to understand that time goes tick tock, tick tock. And so we lose our innate connection with the fluid nature of not just time, but also reality. Sorry, my cat is running around like a crazy girl. So we also have, oh boy, yeah. So we also have Uranus, right? Beautiful. We have Winter's Dream, which is about gestation, right? This is that magical reverie, half sleep, right? And Shiva Consciousness, which is about the nature of creation and destruction. So, yeah, this is lovely. So Uranus is about sudden shift or change or transformation. And so sometimes that shift and change can feel shocking. Sometimes that shift and change can feel uncomfortable, right? Just like creation and destruction, right? This is a process, and sometimes we're in the process, and sometimes we feel like we're being run by the process, right? So sometimes you're in it, sometimes you're out of it, sometimes you're dreaming it, and sometimes you're not. So there's a really etheric quality to what is going on for the door that is being opened for you. Let's get more information. I like this a lot. 4 of Pentacles. Yeah, so that's about conservation and holding on. Judgment. The 2 of Swords. Wow. Let's keep going. I want to see them all. Justice. Beautiful. The Lovers, equally beautiful, and the Queen of Wands. Okay, so let's start here. So when we're talking about life out of time, right, first of all, what we have to remember is that if we're going to have a conversation about divine time, mythic time, divine timing, right? Something outside of our, not really experience of time, but outside of our instruction about time, right? Our stoic 3D definition, a definition of time instead of our experience of time. Yeah, that's what I want to say. So if we're talking about a definition as opposed to an experience, right, this is about what you're told. And how do you explore what your experience is if what you've been told is one thing and then your experience might not meet it, right? That cognitive dissonance that happens then can kind of get you into a weird feedback loop, right? And I mean, remember, you know, Uranus doesn't even revolve in the normal standard way, right? If all planets revolve like this, Uranus revolves on its side. It's completely on a different axis, or so it appears from our geocentric perspective, from our point here on Earth, right? And so how do we connect with something like Uranian energy, which is all about sudden shift and change? It's all about things that come out of the blue, right? Disasters that turn into blessings. Destruction that turns into the capacity for new creation. Right? The dream that turns into the ability to realize and actuate a vision, right? And so how do we get into this state of reverie where we allow things to come in for us? Well, okay, so let's go over here and have a conversation about these cards first. So the 4 of Pentacles is a card of conservation, right? This is, yes, I'm fully resourced. However, I'm going to guard what I have. I'm going to hoard what I have. I'm not in full trust of the fluid and dynamic nature of the universe in order to provide for me. And so I must hold on to what I have. I must guard it. I must shield it, right? I must close off from the abundance that the universe wishes to provide me and hold on to what I think I need, right? There's a big distinction there. What I think versus what I experience. So let's keep going over here for a minute. So Judgment says, right, she's leaping out of her perception of herself, right? She's leaping out of her actual form. Judgment is the assessment of. Judgment says, do I really need that? Do I need to guard that, right? Or am I open to shift and change? Maybe. Two of Swords says, I'm a little confused about that. I'm trying to make a choice, and I'm trying to make a choice based on what I think, right? What I think I need based on what I really need. Yeah. So it feels to me as though you're stuck, right? You're stuck, that you're here. Do I need it? Do I not? Like, I think that you have awareness of the shift that is necessary for you, but I don't think that yet you're aware of the surrender required. That might be your door, right? The surrender to the process. So we come in here with Justice, right? We have the Two of Swords, and then we have Justice, right? We're cutting right through the nonsense, right? There is divine balance here. There is divine harmony here. There is that, the witnessing of both, right? And understanding the key, in my opinion, I mean, as a Libra, I say the key to the Justice card is to realize that it's not one side of the scale or the other side of the scale that really actually matters. It's the fact that you're the fulcrum between them, right? You're the one holding the weights. And so what balances for you is what balances for you. So letting go perhaps of those preconceived notions, of the idea that this is an idea, and instead really witnessing yourself as being in flow, surrendering to that need to be in your experience instead of in your thoughts. And so, I mean, down here in the end, you have the Lovers and the Queen of Wands, right? This is full embodiment. The Lovers is making that divine choice, right? After Justice, if the divine question is, how are you balancing? Are you in harmony, right? Oh, I'm not sure. I'm going to think about that. Well, you know, I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure you're thinking about it. I think you're thinking about surrendering to it. The Lover says, choose the side that has your soul, right? Don't hold on to what you think you need, right? Let go, surrender. It's not an accident that Judgment is under, or is that the Lovers is under Judgment, right? This is where we let go of our soul. We surrender to the experience, and the Queen of Wands then is embodied in her passion, right? So if you have been feeling like you are devoid of purpose, like you're devoid of connection, you're devoid of motion, I think for you, pile number 2, the answer here to what door is being opened for you is the door of surrender, right? The door of surrender to your heart consciousness, to your divine balance. And so where do we find that? We find that outside of the prescription of 3D, outside of the prescription of I think, right? It's not I think, therefore I am. It is I love, therefore I am. I am, therefore I am, right? We can't rationalize our heart. Absolutely not. Queen of Wands says, just try. Just try to rationalize your heart. You probably can't do it. And if you can, you can't do it very well. So Justice really pulls in that divine embodiment, right? The capacity to witness harmony in balance, right? And the Lovers is just that demand for soul connection when it comes to that. And here's the thing, it doesn't have to be a soul connection to another person. It can be a soul connection to your soul, right? You're just reconnecting. You're surrendering to your own highest and best, right? You're surrendering what was so that you can get to what is, right? That is Shiva consciousness, right? We give a thing and we get a thing in equal measure instantly. And so the awareness of that comes in immediately for you. And it's found outside of the prescription of what could be, should be, right? How it has to be. No, none of those things, right? It's all found here. It's all found here. And you know this, right? You know this. You know that holding on doesn't really feel like balance. You know that thinking doesn't really feel like passionate life. You know that that being embodied requires that you let go of some things, right? You can't embody everything. You can only embody yourself. And so you find yourself in that state of reverie, and that Uranian connection is just literally exploding anything that's not. Where do you find it? You might find it in the dream time, right? You might find it in, very, very strong. I think the door that's being opened for you is surrender to your dream. And I don't want to make that be just an actual dream time thing, even though dream time is really magic. And my entire practice is based on an actual dream that I had. I don't think that that's going to apply to everyone. So find your dream time. Find your dream time and apply it outside of what you think, right? Outside of what's prescribed. Apply it in the biggest, broadest, deepest, most passionate, juicy way possible. And don't settle for anything less, right? So I think the door for you, pile number 2, is about surrendering to your soul, right? Wherever you find your soul, in that mythic space, in that reverie space, in that space of magic. And sometimes finding that magic space is going to allow you or require you to get rid of things that have been squared up, shored up, right? I don't think that magic is often found in a box with 90-degree angles, unless you're talking about sacred geometry, right? But even then, my point is, it's a magic door for you. And you know what? It might entail some, let's call it hard choices. But Uranus says, don't be afraid to give up anything. Surrender anything that's asked, because it will be given back to you in kind, right? In kind. Ooh, those are big messages. Look, I want to know how that works for you. Keep me posted and hit that subscribe button so you can come back and let me know. Other than that, thank you for listening. Anything that applies to you, please feel free to run with it. Keep listening if you want to, and be blessed. Pile number 2. Alrighty, pile number 3. You have chosen the seed in this gorgeous rose quartz heart. Let's see what your messages are today, shall we? So the seed clearly is a fairly clear message. This is about the unknown, right? It's about potential. It's about germination. It's about what could be, depending on the way that you choose your what will be, right? As always, in that you are the active participant. You are the one making the choice. How lovely. Okay, so you also get Mercury. Mercury is about communication. Look at how beautiful that card is. I just love it. So Mercury is about communication, information, how you gather information, how you utilize information. It's about your intellect. It's about what you have to say, the way you speak, write, think, right? All of those things. Intake and output of information in the 3D. That's Mercury. And then you have the spirit of the river, movement toward adventure. Now here's the thing. This is about trusting the process, right? This is about being in flow. It can also be about just riding the waves. Interesting. Interesting. So just riding the waves. It can be about that, again, this concept of potential movement. Where does the waves take you? Here's the thing though. Mercury is a directed energy, right? Mercury is not looking for an energy that is that's in flow, right? Mercury wants to know. Mercury wants to gather all the data and make a conclusion and then express that conclusion. So let's gather more information ourselves. All right, you have the Three of Swords, the Page of Swords as well, the King of Pentacles. So we're talking about what door is opening for you, right? So let's keep going. The Two of Wands, the Wheel, and the Fool. Look at that. What a lovely journey you have here, pile number 3. Okay, so let's gather some data. Okay, so Three of Swords, remembering that swords are mercurial energy, right? Swords are about ideas, the beliefs, the communication, the expression of, right? So the Three of Swords is all about beliefs around loss, betrayal, sadness. I mean, look at her. She's clearly very, very sad. The anguish is clear here. And then the Page of Swords comes in with more information, right? More information. The Page of Swords offers new perspectives, a new way to witness this information. Then we have the King of Pentacles over here, right? Kings in Eileen Land. Welcome to Eileen Land, by the way, if you didn't know that's where you were. The King of Pentacles is about being fully resourced and also being in reservation, right? Kings... where queens are the full embodiment, fearless expression of an energy. Kings take a step back and use discernment, sometimes to the point of almost dissociation when it comes to that energy. That's just how I read them, right? I'm not saying that's the way that everyone does. That's just the way that I interpret the energy of a king card. And so here, this is about... pulling back with your resources. And when we talk about resources when it comes to pentacles in tarot, we're talking about value and value, worth and worth, what you have in your hand, what you have in your heart, right? So there perhaps is a way that you've been guarded, right? Guarded or withdrawn or holding back on based on what you believe could happen, something that could have happened, right? And so this is pattern behavior, right? This is something that was planted. So we come to there is no other, right? How do my beliefs hurt me? Because of my expectations. How can I expand my beliefs? By limiting my expectations. How can I be in my highest value? By having no expectations, right? By simply showing up and responding, which is really about the river. Like, we're in flow until we're in motion. We're in potential until we're in action. So let's keep going. Down here we have the Two of Wands, right? This is it's about making choices based on your heart, based on your soul, based on, wands are fire energy. So this is about what jazzes you, what gets you into action, what prompts you to motion, right? What creates the germination. And the answer always is you, right? You are your only germinator. You can be motivated by someone else, but unless you're dedicated to yourself, it's not going to work out so well. So, right, if you're telling yourself a story, but the story isn't actually an embodiment, that story is going to fall flat. It's going to be a ... You're never going to end the story. It's always going to be in seed form. It will never blossom. So here we have a whole bunch of blossoming. So we have the wheel, which is cycle integration, witnessing the turning, literally the turning of the wheel, right? So this is about fate, this is about destiny, this is about choice, all of which, in my estimation, are pretty much the same thing, right? And so what are you in process with? Well, you know, it might feel like this today, but it might feel like this tomorrow, right? That Fool energy, that surrender energy, which is, I trust my resources fully, right? I'm not going to sit here and guard them. I'm going to open to the experience. My faith will allow me to walk any path, right? Because everything I meet is mine. Everything I meet is for me. I will never lack. I have no scarcity consciousness. I will never falter in my choices because I am always in flow, right? This Fool energy is beautiful energy of faith walking, of trusting everything and everyone upon whom you come, because there can be no misery if there's no expectation. If we witness everything as ourselves, we welcome it all. If we can get out of our own way, if we cannot think so hard and simply be in surrender to our constant experience of the movement toward adventure, which is life, right? We can only be moving. Look, she's got her little, she's ready, man. She's ready to go. So whatever that means in terms of her journey, right? What it means to you and your journey is that your door, pile number 3, is the surrender to experience, right? The surrender to experience, the giving up of the belief that you might be hurt, the giving up of the over-analysis, right? Looking up here, this is all holding back energy, right? We have Mercury, which, I mean, let's be fair, Mercury can be very over-analytical. It can be very hypercritical and overthinking. Those are dangers when it comes to mercurial energy. However, Mercury can also really be expressive. So you get to choose, right? You get to choose the expression of how that works for you. If you gather data and then create it into a narrative, what are you doing? Are you telling a story that is, this happened and now I am wounded, or this happened and now I get to make a different choice, right? And guess what? When you make new choices, you witness the cycle turning. And when you witness the cycle turning, you allow yourself to be in surrender to that motion, witnessing that you are everything and there's nothing that can hurt you if it's welcome, if it's your part of potential, right? Because it's all you. It's all you. Your door, pile number 3, is the surrender to your experience, right? To your full expression and experience. Wherever you've been holding back, whatever story you've been telling in the past, you're moving through a doorway that's going to allow you to be in witness to your process and that next level full expression. Right? Your highest potential. That's your doorway. Woo! That's amazing. Pile number 3. Let me know how that goes. Again, if this resonates for you, please feel free to pick it up and run with it. If it does not, just leave it here. Come back and see me. Click the subscribe button so you can. And until then, be blessed. Thank you so much for listening. Have a beautiful day.